on our way to being live. I guess we are live now. It says we are. So,
are we live?
Yeah, we are. So you're back from Florida.
I am back. Yeah, and I haven't been in my studio since I've been home. And I the night before we left, my cousin, who runs kind of a comic shop down in Pensacola. It's at a flea market kind of deal, so it's not a full-fledged comic shop. But he goes, "Hey, bring some of your comics." And I thought, by golly, I have a bunch of comics just floating around here, a couple issues of different things I've done. And so I brought him a bunch of comics.
Cool.
And so I want to show you a couple things before we get started. I bought a bunch of T-shirts on the trip because that's what you do when you travel, buy T-shirts.
Sure.
And but the coolest shirt I bought online. It was in my mailbox when I got home, and I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know if you can see that. Hang on.
Wow, cool, excellent. Yeah, that makes you think. Who did that artwork? Doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know because I wasn't. Do you know what this references, Ellis?
Yeah, the milk cartons.
No. But this specifically references the X-Men arc about the Days of Future Past, because this is an ad that Marvel ran, and I thought it was an awesome T-shirt, so I bought me one.
It is very awesome.
I never.
And I'm thinking.
I think it's kind of a.
I'm thinking it might be Plug, or let's see, who might that be? It's not Plug.
It looks like it says
Wood, maybe
something OG, but you think maybe it is Plug. I bet. Well, no, it says something OG right here. Let me see if I can hold this up to the camera.
Okay.
Can you see that?
It's still blurry.
Bog?
OG. Bog. Very.
BOG, maybe?
BOG. Interesting.
I honestly thought it looked like this era Bill Sienkiewicz stuff, kind of.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was cool because I am a big X-Men fan, especially the early stuff, or the not early now, but I guess now it's early. But anyway, I saw that. I thought it was really cool because I could get a T-shirt with Wolverine on it, but everybody does. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a little bit different, so I bought it.
No, I dig it.
Anyway, it was $20. I'll wear it to work tomorrow. It's soft. It's a nice shirt.
Well, that's really important. You don't want a shirt that feels like, what's this big piece of wood in the middle of my chest?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, and I bought a shirt at Ron John's that's kind of a big print, and sometimes when you wear those, it makes it's like this big plastic ink splot,
Uh-huh.
But anyway. I bought that at the. I'll show you this.
It's really a rare shirt that's got just the right amount of, it doesn't have that iron-on kind of feeling. You don't want the.
No. This is a nice shirt. In fact, I emailed the company and told them how much I liked it.
Oh, cool. Well, they may send you a free one.
Well, here's the other thing that and I didn't bring it up here, but it came in this real cool. It was just a plastic mailer, but it had like kind of their logo on it, or like kind of a big design on it, and it was a bunch of different comic panels. Most of them looked like they were from the 80s and 90s, but they're kind of all put together, and it was like some X-Men and some DC stuff, but they were printed like red on a white bag. So that was kind of unusual. And then the name of the company is called Choke and Bleed. Okay. And
Choke and Bleed.
They sent me a sticker, which I didn't bring up here. But the sticker, they sent me a sticker and it says choke, and then the bleed is kind of bleeding. It's really cool. You know, I thought it's cool to order a T-shirt and get a sticker too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of, it just shows you like goofy marketing stuff. You know, they probably ordered 1,000 of them. It didn't cost them $1 a piece, but I mean, anyway.
Think of what a millionaire James Warren became because he just sold you like a ton of goofy stuff like that on the back of all his goofy famous monsters of filmland and creepy and eerie. Those magazines, it's kind of like Charlton. Those magazines' purpose wasn't to entertain kids. It was to present to them those ads and say, you want a 10-foot tall balloon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, yes.
And he was, he did it quite well.
And I mean, that's the problem with yeah, and I think that's one of the. Well, also he didn't pay anybody supposedly, but
yeah, he'd run across the occasional guy he'd realize he'd have to pay that he wanted. That would say, yeah, I want you, Frank. I put you on the cover, and I sell my book.
Yeah, but meanwhile, I'll steal your original art.
Yeah. I guess he stole maybe one. I don't know. I don't know if he did manage to steal any of them. I think he always returned them. I was thinking he there were a couple of the Lancer stole the last Conan cover. It was never been recovered or never turned up anywhere. It was called the Conan of Aquilonia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it was a cool cover too. It didn't look like his heart was in it. It looked like a kind of a quickie, but it was still Rosetta, Yeah.
Yeah, and stolen. They're worth how much today?
Oh God,
hundreds.
I'll share my screen. That's what I'm doodling right now. Is my Rosetta to warm up. So yeah. Tell us Florida stories. I mean,
well, okay. So I went to Florida.
Yeah.
And I went, I'll show you some artwork too, because I drew a lot, of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I took this is a Moleskine sketchbook. It's the Moleskine Cashier, which is paper. It's flimsy, okay. But they weigh nothing. I mean, you could see this thing took a beating. I mean, at one point, I think it got wet, but
look at that. Yeah, cool.
So let's see.
Well, heck, it got wet while we were streaming.
No, that was another one.
Different one. Wow,
Well, I've ruined a couple sketchbooks lately. Okay. I've had some bad luck. So this is, I drew this in the Oklahoma City airport. This is a quick doodle. Uh-huh. And I drew this on the plane. Another kind of quick doodle that I drew. I drew a car. I drew this waiting in line. So my wife and I went to Pensacola, and then we went down to Disney World and we were gone. We left a week ago Tuesday. So I was gone for like 9 days.
What was the crowd scene like in Disney? Was it crazy?
It was busy, but I wouldn't call it crazy. We had great luck about riding on rides. We got to ride everything with no problem, really. I mean, it was weird. Michelle was really worried about like crowds. Mm-hmm. And it was usually we go like January or February, but it wasn't that bad. We got to ride everything. And we had pretty good luck. She was worried about getting into restaurants because they do reservations. Uh-huh. And we had pretty good luck. There was only one place. There was one place we could not absolutely get in. In fact, we could have, but I refused to wait because there were a couple where I was like, I'm not waiting on this. It's like I'm not waiting an hour. That's a lot of money.
That's another thing coming out of Oklahoma. It's like you realize, I'm in a big metropolitan thing where I'm surrounded by 10 times the amount of people. Yeah.
So I drew this waiting on the bus one night at Epcot. And I drew, and by the way, all these I started and then I finish up later. So don't think that I drew this all while I was waiting or whatever.
You just got everything important on the grid, and
yeah, exactly. I mean, I did all I could, but I, finish it up. So this was at a Chinese restaurant in Epcot, and okay, I'm gonna skip. Oh, okay. So this. I did some doodles, some Mickey Mouse. I was thinking about Mickey Mouse as an anime character, but I didn't quite get it.
Trying to whip out a character design, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking about that while we were waiting in line. So we ate at this restaurant called the Sci-Fi Diner, and you would love this. I don't know if I sent you guys a picture of this, but you basically are sitting in a car in front of it's like a drive-in movie. Now it's not a real car; it's kind of a plastic thing that's got tables in it. But anyway, I drew this, and you can see they're kind of lined up towards the screen, and they're showing like clips of '50s monster movies.
Cool.
And so that was cool. Okay, I'm gonna skip that one. I'll show you that one later. Oh, and then this was just a page of doodles I did waiting in line. And everywhere I drew, somebody come up to me and start talking to me about, you should come here and get a job. And I'm like, okay,
Well, I mean, it is a better market for, it's just like me moving to California. I was absolutely correct. I was correct when I moved to Dallas that there was more work there.
Yeah.
And I was correct when I moved to California for the sake of getting some more interesting work, So, it does matter if you're in a market. You can. Yeah,
geography does matter.
Yeah.
You definitely can't. I mean, even with remote working and stuff, you can't work just anywhere. Anyway, I drew a bunch of. Oh,
go ahead.
I drew a bunch of robots because I recently kind of applied for science. There was a guy looking for an artist for his science fiction comic, and he wanted to see more robots, not from me specifically, but more robots and more aliens. So I drew a page of alien heads, which aliens are a lot harder than you'd think they would be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I started up here and kind of worked my way down, and I think I got better. I kind of like this one and this one.
Yeah. That one's the best. You got your finger on.
This one or this one?
Yeah, the one you had your finger on there. That one.
No, yeah. But anyway.
And why? Because it's just it's the eyes. You've said one big thing is different. This guy's eyes are freaky.
Oh yeah. Well, that was the thing. I tried to experiment with different head shapes and different eye shapes or eye sizes. Just kind of mess with that a little bit. Let's see. Here's my regular sketchbook. I took this. I didn't take this in the park because this is bigger. I don't know. I drew in the plane on this. I don't know what I drew. Oh, apparently I did draw on a plane. So I drew. This is. I think this is the Pensacola, from Pensacola to Orlando, because we were pretty close to the front. And it was a short flight. Oh, and I drew this robot. I thought this robot came out pretty good.
Wow.
It
reminds me of Box and Logan's Run.
Oh yeah, well, kind of a little more mobile, but
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, he's got a big breastplate that's similar to that.
Yeah, and then I drew just a guy with a motorcycle. And I drew on the plane, we flew Delta. They gave us this bag of almonds, and it had kind of a little character on it. Michelle and I had gone, at Epcot, we had gone to the Japan Pavilion, which is where it had all this Japanese stuff, and it had there were Japanese students working there and that sort of thing. And I was commenting with her about how, in Japan, they use characters for so much stuff. I mean, everywhere you look, there's characters on signs and stuff.
Yeah.
And so our almonds had this little character on it, but I didn't like it, so I drew my own. Just kind of a. Anyway, I got another sketchbook that I drew a couple things in, but it's downstairs. But anyway, that was so my trip. I'll tell you about my trips. And I didn't really talk about the trip that much. We flew from here with my mom. We flew from Oklahoma City to Pensacola, Florida. My father grew up in Pensacola. I have relatives in Pensacola I have relatives I don't really know in Pensacola. And so we went there because I kind of wanted, Michelle and I are still not really sure whether it's quite safe to go back to New York City for multiple reasons. Her friend is actually telling us she doesn't feel very safe there anymore.
There's a daily atrocity story of someone just being horribly messed up and shot randomly or whatever.
Yeah, attacked or pushed in front of a subway or something. Yeah,
something.
Yeah, it's not good. So we were a little unsure of that. So we kind of said, well, maybe this is the time we go to Disney World because we haven't been to Disney World in about 5 years. Well, then when my father passed away, we kind of thought, well, I would like to go to Florida. And I'd met some of my cousins on Facebook. And so I thought, well, that would be good. I'd like to go to Florida and meet some cousins, for real. And so that's what we did. Well, we took my mom. We asked her if she wanted to go. And so she went. And so we flew from Oklahoma City to Pensacola, Florida on Tuesday, the 10th, I think it was, maybe the 11th, whatever last Tuesday was, not last Tuesday, Tuesday before last. And then we were there. We went to let's see. We went there. We went out to eat. We hung out with some relatives. We went to my mom wanted to go to the cemetery where my grandparents are buried, which is on the naval base there. Mom, because my father was in the National Guard, my mom has like a military spouse ID. And so she was able to, and she got a letter about, she'd emailed the whoever, and she got a letter, about going to visit the grave. And so that got us on base. Once we were on base, there's a big naval museum there. So we went to that, and it was really cool. I could have spent all day at that because it was just basically a bunch of airplanes. Yeah. But it was just really cool.
Maybe
unfortunately, I was with my wife.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Anyway, so when we go into the museum, they tell us, oh, you came here on a good day. The Blue Angels are going to practice at 11. Yeah. And so we watched the Blue Angels for probably about an hour and a half.
They're still flying F-18s, aren't they?
They're flying Super Hornets, whatever those are.
Oh, that's
an F-18 Super Hornet?
An F-16. Yeah, I'm probably just wrong about which one they have been flying for a long time. Probably they've been flying the F-16 for a long time. Well,
either way,
yeah,
it was pretty impressive. But anyway, so we did that, and then we met with some relatives. And then, let's see, that was Tuesday when we flew down. Wednesday, we basically hung out all day. And, that was Wednesday we did that. And then that night we met some relatives for supper. We met some relatives for lunch, met some relatives for supper. And then we went, my cousin, I met two of my cousins. One of them, like I said, owns a comic shop called Area 51, which is in it's kind of a flea market booth. It's not what you consider like a full comic shop as such.
Yeah, who can afford a full comic shop, and it probably would be a bad business model to have a full-blown comic shop anymore,
I don't think it'd be a good idea, that's for sure. But anyway, So he anyway, so we met him, and his name is Jim Bob Sackett. I think he goes by Jimmy Sackett, but he and then we met my cousin Kathy, and Kathy, she runs. There's it's called Flounders, but it's a restaurant chain. I don't know how many they own, but they're like, it's kind of a beach restaurant-y bar, fish kind of place. But there's a gift shop attached to it, and she's the manager of the gift shop. And that's on Pensacola Beach. So we hung out with them for a while, and then Michelle and I on Thursday we went to downtown Pensacola and kind of hung out there a little bit with Mom, and then we took Mom by my Aunt Carol's house because Michelle and I drove down to Panama City Beach, which is where my old boss retired. It was about an hour and 45 minutes away. So we drove down there and went out to eat with him and his wife and saw him and talked to him and stuff. And that was pretty cool.
So is he digging retirement or what?
Well, I think he does, but he doesn't. Here's the thing. I mean, it's funny you say that because I think he's a little bored. And I'm telling you, I tell everybody this. I'm convinced that you have retirement figured out where a lot of people don't.
Well,
you just
I'm not going to let anybody shame me into thinking I need to start working on anti-gravity or something since I've got all this free time. I mean, that's nothing that's ever come out of me before, and it's unlikely to ever come out of me, in terms of like some major project. Well, and and the other thing is like, well, now you can do all those comic books you didn't do, and that's true. I could whip comic books out, but I already know I can't make myself do it because I know it just it doesn't pay, and so making the mental effort of doing comic books for nothing, I stopped there. So but I am still doing art. I'm deeply in the hunt for becoming a better oil painting. I say that I don't do nearly enough of it.
Well, I say that you have it figured out because I think that you're well. Okay, so look, this guy, he was telling me like, and I'm kind of putting words in his mouth because he didn't say it exactly like this, but his, all his buddies are back in Oklahoma. He doesn't really have any friends there, and I think he misses that. And he hunted and he fished, and he doesn't do any of that there. I mean, I think they go fishing a little bit, but I think he just misses some of that. And I think that you've got your routine and you stay busy. He doesn't stay busy.
Yeah.
I mean,
is he healthy?
Not especially.
Oh,
that's the other. He's diabetic, and in fact, when we were there, he had his foot in a boot because he had surgery on a wound on his foot. Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like I don't know. I think if you're going to retire, especially, which I mean, I say this, and you're not where you want to live, I'm sure,
No,
but
no, I'm not where I want to live, but I'm making do. And like I say, I count my blessings every day. In fact, I'm guilty about them because I imagine in my mind about people I'm related to that have, my aunt is constantly filling me in on all these young people that are having to scurry around and have no money and they're in that dead environment of Arkansas. It's like, geez, okay. I've got everything, I guess. And then of course in terms of the guilt that I hate for my mind to go there. It's like, Ellis, you ought to just move on and let some of these people that need things have all your
What?
have all your bounty. And it's like, no.
Bounty.
I'll stick with the shack for a while as long as it lasts.
No. Just yeah. Well, Michelle and I are very fortunate. In fact, today Michelle paid off her car. We're right as it stands right now. We're 100% debt free.
Oh, I wish I need about $1,200 right now to get there. Yeah, I paid my stupid property taxes on my Discover card, so now I've got to get that off. So,
gosh,
Ellis. Well, yeah,
Ellis. Oh my gosh, yeah, never do that.
Well, yeah, they're getting me for at least $30 a month that I want to get that back. So I gotta cough up some projects here pretty soon but I'm paying them off big each time. I'm paying $250 off each time. So it will yield, but and I may make it hurt. I may pay $500 off pretty quick here. So
Michelle and I, we have a Disney Visa card, and you get points. And so when we went to Disney World, Michelle put our whole trip on our Disney card. Cool. Now, don't get me wrong, we'll pay it. And in fact, she's already paid it off because we bought everything a while back. But she bought some other stuff. Well, like I had some work done on my car, and I think I put it on the Disney card. And when we went down there, Ellis, we had $600 in credit on our card. We didn't pay for a meal until the last day. And I bought all kinds of stuff there, just because. So that kind of stuff is smart to put on your card, I guess.
Yeah. No. If you're going to be using a card anyway.
Yeah, if it pays you back, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, Michelle and I are pretty fortunate. We're doing okay. Of course, we're both working too. And it's easy. It's definitely easier to get through life with two people than one. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, I could break down and do a dozen different things to make some money. Here's I was looking at this.
Well,
you talk about Frazetta.
And that's the other thing.
There we go. Recognize this Zelda Pose from the very first thing he did for Ace Paperbacks. You don't have to look. It's the very first thing he did for Ace Paperbacks that started him from 63 until 73. That great decade where he just ruled the world. But he started with this that was a kind of weird application of oil painting. He had to learn to paint, basically. But I've got this little quote from him I was going to share about how good he was at that time, where he talks about, I did those covers. He's talking about his famous Funnies covers, and he did those at a time when I had total mastery. I could draw anything and draw it superbly. Remember, up to that point, I'd been drawing in pen and ink for 10 years professionally. I was drawing every day. The more you draw, the better it gets. At least that's the way it worked with me. And then he says, all I know is what I was very pleased with those famous Funnies covers. They are me at my very best. And the deal is that if a guy wanted to be like I want to paint like Frazetta, I've got to understand that the only reason Frazetta paints like Frazetta is that his drawing skills are just otherworldly. And that's where that's going to come from. But of course, I wanted to make one comment, though, about this. That we talk about how nonstop creative Frazetta was. This is cribbed from a Hal Foster pose, and it was something that he did, on purpose. He was obviously a big Hal Foster fan, and so he cribbed a pretty famous, something that ends up in a lot of swipe files. That particular shot of Frazetta or Tarzan,
yeah,
leaning out, looking out over the valley. Opar. Have you read much Edgar Rice Burroughs yourself?
It's funny you say that. I was just thinking the other day before we went on the before I went on the trip, I almost bought part of the Mars series, the his John Carter series. I've got them all in paperback, but you can get cheap copies. Mine are the Michael Whelan covered ones. Now, when I was a kid, my uncle or my cousin gave me a bunch of Edgar Rice Burroughs with Frazetta covers. But at one point, I wanted to get the Michael Whelan one, so I picked them all up. But I was thinking, I read a bunch when I was a kid. I don't remember much of it, but I liked it. I liked his science fiction stuff. I didn't read a lot. I never read a lot of Tarzan.
Yeah. Well, that turns pretty science fiction pretty quick on a lot of levels. What else? Oh, I was at the library. I got Nietzsche in 90 minutes. It's about how much patience I'll have for it. So I'm going to listen to that since he is. And right now I'm just about done reading this paperback of William Goldman's second book, Soldier in the Rain. And then I'll watch the movie, which I have this Warner Brothers archive collection where they print them on demand, or whatever you call that, when it's a video instead of a book.
Oh yeah.
Publish on demand.
I'm listening. I've been listening to the last couple of days, including yesterday when we traveled. I've been listening to Strangers on a Train after you recommended it.
Oh, well, where you at? It's long, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's longer than I thought it would be. I'm not super far through it. I think I'm in the middle of the second disc. So but it's like 9 discs.
I know it. I'm still not done, and I've got it out in the car.
I thought you were done with it.
I'll probably finish it off tomorrow. I'm that far along. I'm on disc 9, and it's quite a kick to see what Hitchcock did to it. I think I stopped. I meant to look up to see if what's her name? What's the author's name? Patricia Highsmith.
Patricia Highsmith. If she liked his adaptation?
Yeah, if she liked it, because I think she probably did. For one thing, she never had to worry about making a living from that point forward after she had a bestseller riding on the heels of a Hitchcock movie. I think it was semi-bestseller anyway, but having a movie come out that everybody runs out to see, that's a glorious big help to an author. I'm copying Frazetta Ruffs today, my favorite.
Yeah, well, and I didn't realize she wrote the Ripley books.
Oh yeah, that's probably her best stuff. I think everybody kind of agrees that's her. That's the essence of hers. That Ripley character. The essence of Patricia Highsmith, like someone has noted, is dread. She'll get started, drop you in a scenario, and you go, oh man. It's like I told you that they call her one-eye film. How I couldn't watch it because I knew the scene where the guy, the pimp guy, was going to remove this girl's eye eventually. I just couldn't make myself watch it for longer than a few minutes at a time because I knew the scene would be coming. It's like, I can't watch that. Well, that sort of
Oh
dread,
yeah.
that sort of dread sets in with Patricia Highsmith. You say to yourself, "Oh man, this isn't going to end well," and and she, I've heard, I think her short stories are.
Yeah.
That's what gets me about Strangers on a Train. It probably is overlong. She's a young woman who's got a love of Dostoevsky and a bunch of other things. She's obviously a very advanced brain, and she was real precocious. She was reading this seminal psychiatry book when she was like 6 or something like that. So anything that is going on in the human mind, she's trying to figure it out when she's like in grade school. And here I'm,
Yeah, you're reading
whenever I'm eating
Nietzsche.
boogers. Yeah, I'm eating boogers
now.
when I'm 6. Whatever. Yeah, now.
Yeah, now you're.
And I'm working in a little Nietzsche here and there, but
yeah, well, that's how life is, man. There's always somebody.
Yeah, we were talking about that last time about the relativity of different folks.
Yeah, there's always somebody that's a little more, got, for whatever reasons, got it together a little more than.
Yeah. Well, Michael Malus had this great quote, because he's got people that are giving him all these hammerings of women that are, the pro-abortion things, and they're all hammering these women with like, they just can't. Sex is so primal, they just can't not get pregnant, right? And they're making fun of them, but as Malus says, they can't buy some contraception. But as Malus says, there's a lot of people that only live in the very now. They don't.
Yes.
They don't study their past, and they definitely don't make plans for the future. And,
that is very true.
And Harlan Ellison made the same sort of comment. Now, that may seem like terrible condescension, but it's not. It's what we're all faced with when you run into somebody that you wish would get their crap together.
Yeah, no. That's very true.
That you didn't have to worry about, that they would at least take care of themselves on some minimal kind of level to where they wouldn't be such a worry to you,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That observation is very true, that there is a lot of people. And again, I like you said, I don't think it's condescension. It's because it's very true. There are a lot of people that, because that's kind of my thing is always, and my wife is always saying that. Well, why is abortion such a big deal for people? Just like buy condoms or get on birth. You know what I'm saying? You can prevent.
And you can say that, but it's those people that are all of a sudden saying, "Hey, look at this." They finally pay attention. They're 5 months pregnant.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Because Michelle and I have managed to be married for coming up on 35 years and have not had children, and and I'm not, I get stuff happens, but
didn't want.
But I think but we've talked about it, and we have, it's a choice that we've made, and we've taken steps to take care of this. And so my wife is very well, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but she is very much of the opinion of, hey, plan ahead. It's not, that's, but yeah, for some people, it's like, it's easy for you to say. It's like, well, yeah, it should be easy for everybody to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, anyway, I've probably got myself in trouble on that. But
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, there's half the country will come for you and kill you. So there you go.
Yeah, exactly. And the ones that wouldn't do it would be supported because how dare I
Well, and the
be
people that
pissed?
march in the streets are just the opposite. They probably never had an abortion in their lives. They're the kind of people that meet you on the streets, and uh, they're very well mapped out for their day. So those types just
I don't know if I completely agree with that, but whatever.
yeah. We'll get off this
Yeah,
stuff. This is
well,
this
I
is
think that.
this is the most divisive thing a person could be talking about. And it
Yeah,
doesn't
well, I
belong.
think there's a lot of people that like you say that march in the street that probably don't I mean, it's inconceivable the idea that somebody can plan ahead.
Yeah. Well,
But
yeah, Malus will say something like that all these
anyway,
people are dummies, but then he makes comments like saying, these people are going to be no problem. We're going to blow through them eventually. And it's like, well, you make one comment. Oh, everybody does this. That you contradict yourself on a thought. This is fun to draw for Zeta because he's already got it all worked out. I'm doing these with just ballpoint and then dropping on a little dark. This will be fun because I needed to scan something. It's good to talk to you because this way I'll have something to scan and feed my Tumblr because lately it's for the past week it's had 3 very nasty looking doodles on it in terms of like man, can't you draw better than that? I need to replace them with something.
no, yeah. I mean, I've had what's weird. I've had a lot of activity on my social media. My website's gotten a lot of hits. I say a lot of hits. I would get 3 a month, and now I'm getting about 3 or 4 a day.
Cool.
Which is,
me.
I don't know what that means, but I mean, I know what it means. I don't know what the implications of that are.
Well, it means some of it, of course, can be coronavirus related. I saw something. It's like they aren't serious, are they? They aren't going to release monkeypox to keep us all indoors and keep us at bay, are they? On election day, they've apparently got the first case of monkeypox, and it's like monkeypox is like I will get inoculated for that because for one thing they actually have vaccines that work for that kind of disease, that kind of virus. But well, I'm not sure that's true. Anyway, they've successfully dealt with monkeypox for many years. But it's nasty. It's pustule and everything. It's everything you don't want to have happen to your body. So they've got an easy sell there, and if they're looking for another $130 billion, they've got an easy sell if they can convince us all that monkeypox is raging through the land.
I saw that picture you posted from the what is it the Iowa Hawk or whatever.
Yeah, David Burns.
Is that a real thing, or is that something he came up with, or is that
no, that's the real thing. That's exactly the press release. That is the case that they've got a case that's been identified, and that just shows you what monkeypox looks like. So it's a big, nasty, full-bodied, pimply-looking blisters all over you.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah.
I'm out. Yeah.
It's like Ben-Hur, Ben-Hur's mother, was it? Or was it his sister, his beloved sister that he meets as a leper?
I don't remember.
Yeah, the big scene in Ben-Hur's when he at the watering hole when he takes care of those Arabs that are abusing the women, jumps out with his staff, makes short work of about 4 of them. Charlton Heston, your go-to guy for religious spectacle. He made a
Yes.
couple. He made a couple. He was good as Moses.
Yes.
Am I thinking of the right movie? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben-Hur, Moses.
Yeah. Yep.
What else? Did he make another one? I'm trying to think.
No, is that not enough?
That'll do it. That's all you have to do to be a legend in the biblical epic sense. The two biggest.
Yes.
Of that era, back when they did that. Had Cecil B. DeMille.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's a smart thing to
I
do.
can't imagine them doing biblical epics nowadays.
Oh, no. But they tried it, didn't they? They tried to remake Ben-Hur, I guess.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, the story's big enough. Why not try it? And you know why they would do it. It would be a totally cynical thing. They'd say, look at the numbers on Passion of the Christ. That doggone Mel Gibson, he's got more money than any of us. Let's roll it ourselves. Let's try it. And didn't work. I guess our heart wasn't in it. That's what I.
No, they would say. See, nobody cares.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly the verdict they would reach. It's like, that's the end of biblical epics. We'll.
Yep.
Hey, how about this?
Was a fluke.
How about Cuties? Oh yeah. Hey, let's have a look at that.
Let's do some 12-year-olds or whatever it was.
Yeah. But I say that about Netflix, and I'm looking forward tomorrow. It opens Love, Sex, and Robots. It's just a bunch of shorts that are always really well done. And the new ones show up tomorrow.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, they're really well done. You don't get Netflix.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Are they animated or just?
Yes, they're all animated.
Nope. And not for any particular reason, except I don't need another distraction in my life.
Yeah. I love this incidental lion that Frazetta's got way up high on this perch. That's another thing. I make the statement, you can't paint like Frazetta unless you can draw like Frazetta, but also you can't paint like Frazetta unless you've done a piece of planning like Frazetta does for all his paintings, his little roughs. He's not going to get lost as he proceeds on any of it. He's done every bit of deep thinking he needs to do about the thing.
It's funny you say that because a lot is made about how fast Frazetta was at painting, but he did do like roughs on everything.
Oh
didn't
yeah,
he?
I mean, it's like he's one of those guys that would josh people, and he's staying behind the curtain a little bit on that stuff. He's not.
Yeah.
Hard that is for him. He's going to say, oh man, he's gets these fans come around and just bowing to him basically, and he's saying, yes, I understand your great love of me, and this is and you're right.
I am awesome.
I'm just right next to Superhuman. Of course, his little stories in Painting with Fire, you can tell he was, everybody loved him for being so arrogant. It's not, what's that old, no brag, just fact. It's, Walter Brennan TV show, no brag, just fact. It started that way, I think, every time. I'll look that up, see if I can find the sound file. We all need to be that way. No brag, just fact. We need to have some deep down confidence in ourselves.
Yeah.
What was the name of that? That was called the Sons of Will Sonnet.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It just came to me.
Well, some people need less, but
They need less, yeah. Hey, that's pretty good. Get your Cyclops going. There's some sort of I saw a cartoonist kayfabe you'll have to catch up with. It looks like it was a special thing about a Dark Horse Presents thing of John Byrne, where I think it's an old thing he's done. It's called, what was it called? I can look it up. Cartoonist kayfabe.
Critical Error.
Yes, that's what it was. What is that?
Critical Error? I saw
Yeah,
they just did one on that.
Yeah. What was the subject on Critical Error, the comic book he did? I mean, how long ago was it?
Give me just...
Oh, you've got one?
I'll show you what it's in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you what it's in. It was not originally released as a... Hang on, I have to find it. I've got it. Here it is. Just it. Yeah. Okay, so it was released by it was re-released by Dark Horse.
Uh-huh.
And I've got a copy of that. In fact, mine's signed, but but he originally did it.
Oh, I remember that. I used to have that, I think, a long time ago. The Art of John Byrne. So what is it? Just an insert story?
No, it's in the back.
Huh.
So this is the Art of John Byrne.
Uh-huh.
For those who don't know about this, well, obviously by what it said. Oh yeah. I have had this for a while, but I didn't buy it when I was a kid because, I mean, you got to realize at the time, comics cost probably 35 cents. Let's see, when this came out. Mm-hmm. And so $6 was a big investment for me as a kid. I was at I'm a comic convention in Oklahoma City, and I picked it up, and I was like, oh, man, the Art of John Byrne. I opened it. I came to this page where his head is exploding.
Yeah.
And it really unnerved me. I just saw that. I was probably like 12 or 13. And I was just like, whoa, I don't know about this. And I kind of flipped through it, and the art was not like X-Men.
Yeah.
Well, there's the X-Men right there. But I didn't appreciate And between the two things, I was just like, oh, I don't know about this. But this is Critical Error. It's a story. He was saying now Dark Horse reproduced this in color.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd rather have it like that.
Well, and the Dark Horse thing had a story about how he did it. And it was basically, he was going to the comic shop. This was in the 80s, and he still went to a comic shop every week. And he was flipping through a heavy metal, and he thought, could I do a heavy metal style story? And so he drew this, and it kind of set for a while. And so, did they look at the color one or the black and white one? They probably looked at the color
it
one.
looks like they would really envy the one you've got in your hands because they were looking at the color one. Because I knew it was Dark Horse.
Yes, Dark Horse published it when he was doing Next Men. Mm-hmm. And so this is it, and it's basically a story of a spaceman who gets stranded on a planet. And again, this is something he did, and he drew it and he inked it. And in the story about it, he says apparently he walked to the comic shop and he was reading through heavy metal, flipping through heavy metal. And he thought, he was like, I should do a heavy metal kind of story. And so on the way home, this story came up in his head. He thought about this story on the way home. And so basically this guy is on this planet. He's deserted. His ship is wrecked. And it's, him kind of wandering around.
Cool. No dialogue. Totally.
There's no dialogue. There's no dialogue. And so there's something watching him. I don't know if you can see that there. And so then he meets this girl,
Mhm.
And in the dark, in this one, of course, she's naked. But in the Dark Horse one, she's got a bikini bottom on.
Ah,
She's kind of been censored a little bit.
yeah.
So he meets this girl, and he follows her around, and she's got a little shack there, and there's some different things, and anyway, they're swimming, and then they end up,
Intimate.
yeah, there you go, intimate, and he wakes up, and when he wakes up, he runs. I don't know where he goes. Anyway, he sees this big thing, this big shadow, and he's like, and he can't figure out, and he realizes, he sees that he saw these big footprints, and there was a block that he tried to lift in her place, and so he thinks that that's actually her. She's turned into that, apparently. That's the implication I always got. So he runs, and he ends up getting rescued, and he leaves, and so they get him off the planet. And then, you find out, oh no, it's a robot that she had that was helping her. And then you see him, on this thing, in a bar, depressed. And you see her on this
Depressed
planet
as well.
with a baby.
Oh, she's got a baby.
So the implication is she also did not plan ahead. So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I saw that. I was kind of flipping through my phone, and I saw that they did a critical error episode. They must be big John Byrne fans.
Have they done a few shows on him?
Yeah, they've done a couple shows about John Byrne.
I'm going to type in critical error, John Byrne, and see how much that book you've got goes for.
No, this is The Art of John Byrne.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's not real expensive.
Oh, it's not?
No, I mean, I think you can get them. I think it's under $20 to buy one. I mean,
well, the one I found wants $57.55 for it.
For this?
Yep.
Oh, I got two of them.
Yeah.
This is something I won't get rid. I mean, I'm a big John Byrne fan.
You can make your money back on that one.
Yeah, because I paid $6.50 for this one.
Okay.
And the other one I have is signed by him.
So you don't get rid of that one.
No, I wouldn't get rid. This is a book that I'd keep. But there are PDFs of this floating around online. So
there are. Oh, I'll look for that.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've been at
If I find one, I'll send you a link to it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll do a search. I bet I can find something. We've been at it 58 minutes. Did you want to add anything about your being back and how much you're glad to be back? I bet you're glad to be back.
No.
Aren't you? Oh, you aren't glad?
No, I am glad to be back. Yeah, no, I'm glad. I went to work and I had 209 emails I had to answer.
Yeah.
That was a little daunting, but I mean, really, it wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. So, that's the bad thing.
Good. It gave you a break.
It's fun to get away. I really like Pensacola.
Well, I envy that. I envy that, being able to.
Would you say, Ellis, you broke up there?
Well, I envy that, Scott. Being able to jump up and get out.
Travel.
I guess we'll wrap it up then. Can you hear that? Hey, Scott, we're wrapping it up.
Okay.
Okay, I'll end the broadcast.
Sounds good.